Destroy the child. Corrupt them all.
They're not atheists. They're religious, but they worship themselves. Like they're really like a lot of religious people don't fundamentally literally take their text as true.
Hmm.
Like they don't really think the earth was made in 6 days. Like a lot of Christians that are definitely Christian, believe Christ is their savior, all that. They don't really think the earth was made in 6 days. They don't really think Noah's Ark happened. They don't really think we should have the divine right of kings. Like a lot of religious people shave big chunks of their faith and end up with some core tenets, and that's their religion. And the same with Judaism. Like you can point to all these crazy things in the Talmud and stuff, and what, but they don't really think that. And what it's really come down to in Israel is it is an ethno state where the most important part of their religion is God giving them land, and their 3,000-year-old land claim is saying, well, some of us were here thousands of years ago, therefore all of it is ours, despite and ignoring the fact that by their own logic, then it would be Palestinian too, because the Philistines were also there thousands of years ago. The difference is they had continuity, and these European migrants from Poland did not.
All right, so yeah, this is. I mean, it's funny how it always connects to these people, these Zionist, supremacist, Talmudic people types. And I've actually had a Jewish guy on the show. He's a Zionist from Israel, and he was a nice guy. Went on for 3 hours, however, too long, but it was a good show, very educational. His view, he's a good guy. I could tell he's a good guy, but totally believed what he was saying. So to me, it's like they themselves are conditioned to believe what we're told too. It's not like they know everything. Like, ha ha ha, we have the plans, and the kids know it, and the aunt knows it. No, none of them know it. It's just these top elite.
Yeah,
elite.
It's like political ideologies anywhere, really. Like,
Yeah.
It is dogmatic in the sense of a religion, although I wouldn't say all political ideologies invoke the supernatural. That's the difference between a religion and just a really stupid idea. But anyone that, like, if you're floating around the concept of Jew and Gentile, that comes from Judaism. Naturally, we're just people. It's a self-alienating religion to say, well, we're the Chosenites and everyone else is lesser than. Like, if you're falling into that language, you have not completely purged that religion from your mind. Even if you reject some of the miracles and some of the more fanciful type of, like Samson's magic hair, or Jonah living in a whale's belly for 3 days, or making the sun stand still, or turning people into salt and frogs covering Egypt, and some of the other more obviously ridiculous parts of the Torah or the Old Testament. If you still believe that King David is real, then you're believing in a historized version of history, a religious version of history that's been historized. King David is no more real than King Arthur. King Arthur is a fictional character. Merlin the wizard and Excalibur and all that is a story.
They're real, man.
And
They're real.
King David killing Goliath with a sling and that whole thing, and that there is no archaeological evidence and there's no mention of this king other than the Bible from any of the surrounding nations. There's no physical evidence for any of this. It's just a made-up story. So if you're going to say you're atheist because maybe you don't believe in God, but you believe in all the stories out of your folklore from your religion, then you're still religious. You're just less religious than other religious people,
So in your personal views, I want to get into them because obviously it's safe to say you are non-religious, right? You don't believe, you're not Christian. You're not, do you have any religious background yourself?
I was raised Christian.
Okay.
Me
too. I was raised Catholic until 23. I realized it wasn't for me anymore. Okay.
I was confirmed a Methodist. My mother's Catholic. I went to Episcopalian boarding school. I had a pretty broad spectrum of Christianity. I just, I disagree. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. And, back in the day when I was more of a, Mr. Got to tell the truth, I would attack, different religious groups, whether it be Muslim, Christians, whoever. And I find that, my whole family's Roman Catholic, and it's just, my dad will always push, hey, when are you going to have Alexander, my son? When are you going to have him baptized? I'm like, Dad, he's not going to go to hell if he dies as a kid. Okay, leave me alone with this, But that's it. I don't make fun of him. He's a good man. All that matters to me with religious people is that they can believe whatever they want to keep it to themselves, and they don't hurt anyone else. But when you're ISIS and jihad and all that other people, or these Talmudic supremacists, like for example, the last show I just did was on circumcision. How these rabbis, the ADL threatened Iceland to not ban it. I mean, that's when the religious things get problematic for me.
Yeah, that's somebody's body. That's their right. Like,
right.
you cannot rip off a piece of a child's penis, and he has no say in it. Like,
no.
Religion's not an excuse for genital mutilation.
I agree.
A barbaric practice, and if you want to do that to your own kid, I guess, and that's barbaric enough. But you can't stop other people from banning the practice if that culture decides that, well, we're not of that religion and we don't agree with ripping pieces of penises off of babies.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a slippery slope. You're like, and I can pry his fingernail off and I can burn him a little bit.
Not?
But, like,
Why
no,
not?
you can't. Like, no, well, it's my religion. Well, that's not an excuse to be a barbaric asshole.
Yeah.
Like, it's also in your religion to have animal sacrifice, but if you actually did that, you'd go to jail.
Well, they do in New York. A lot of these Orthodox,
I guess.
they kill
Like,
the chickens and they just go to get their sins removed. But anyway, I do.
You're going around and putting goat's blood on people's door to keep the Sabbath day.
Right.
If you literally followed all the laws in the Bible, you would go to prison.
Yes, you would.
So, like, and that's just how it is. And that's like, look, you can believe it, but you can't act on the crazy parts of it, at least. And yeah, you got to draw the line there. I don't care. Like, I live in a Japan's a weird thing. They're like customarily religious, but not sincerely. Mm-hmm. Because the stories and mythologies are valuable. It's a kind of cultural glue, and it has a function, even without actually thinking. It really ties to something supernatural. An example I give of like a secular holiday in the West is birthdays, right? What you have a cake, you put candles on it, you make a wish. You don't really believe in wishes or whatever, but it's a round cake. It has fire, and it's once a year, and it's your birthday. That actually goes back to the celebration of Bast, the moon goddess in Greece, and the round cake is symbolizing the moon as a full moon, because the months used to be counted by moons. Many moons is how many months you are, and that's how you keep track of when your birthday would be. And it was illuminated, and candles were very expensive back then, by the way, just because the moon is illuminated. And it was a much smaller cake than what birthday cakes are now, these little circle cakes. But when you sing happy birthday to you and you have candles on a round cake, I'd say 99.99% of people have no idea that goes back to an ancient moon goddess in Greece. It's just sort of a customary thing, and you walk through and know what you're supposed to do and don't even know what the symbols mean or whatever, and then you make a wish without believing in any of it. It's just some sort of event to signify the importance of acknowledging that someone is a year older than they were, the day before. And so I think the customs are great. I think you can have rituals and customs, and you could celebrate Christmas and anything else without the supernatural dogma. And it's important on a cultural level to have these sort of celebrations and festivals and things that unite community, and to go through, and it could be whatever. It doesn't have to be a traditionally religious thing. You could have people who are just big fans of Superman or whatever. Like if they derive some sort if you get a moral compass from reading stories about heroes, whether it's Hercules or Superman or whatever, something modern, and it works for you, then cool, fine. I'm good with anybody's religion, just as long as they're a good person.
Yeah.
Like I'm a big fan of Ron Paul, and he's a Christian.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Pat Roberts, who is also a Christian.
Right. He's the
I've always felt like
Israel.
Yeah.
You have to
Israel. He got his followers to send in money so they could send mining equipment to get diamonds out of Africa. How very Christian, right? So it's, I feel like religion's more like a car, and the driver is the one that it's a good or a bad driver, and you can make your religion good or you can make your religion bad. I don't think religion makes you good or bad. I think you make it good or bad, because it's all up to your interpretation and the way you practice it. And there's enough wiggle room in any religion to make something really screwed up like Daesh or Zionism or Christian fanatics.
Correct.
Or to make something really good.
Yeah.
I
agree.
All you want. This is their plan, people. They're frickin' interdimensional invaders. In my blood.